Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Strike Fighters 2 North Vietnam. We're back with now Lieutenant Win Van Koch, flying with the First Flight 923rd Yente Fighter Regiment out of Kep Air Base in North Vietnam. The date is November 21st, 1965, and our mission today, as always, is going to be to intercept incoming American aircraft. So, we have to intercept an enemy flight approaching the Nam Dinh textile mills. It's down to the southeast. Destroy the enemy flight before it reaches its target. Call sign today will be the Din Ton flight. We'll be flying 4 J5 Fresco Cs. Take off at 8:03 a.m. Down over the target at 8:15 for the intercept. Back to Kep by 8:31. Here in the loadout, I'm Din Ton 1, of course, VPAF Camo 2, fully loaded. And we've got our huge of two 400-liter drop tanks for a total takeoff weight, 13,070 pounds, all 4 aircraft equipped with the same loadout. Easy peasy, over to the map. Taking off from Kep, we're going to head out to the east into the mountains to get the formation together as we reach waypoint 3. This is showing an altitude of 13,000 feet. We're not going to be doing that today. We're going to be staying down low and following very close to the ground, mostly under 2,500 feet if possible, to stay off the American radar for most of the way. So we'll be ignoring the altitude assignment here. After we hit waypoint 3, we're going to circle around and head back down, passing by Hai Phong on our left, and reaching our initial point over the city of Nam Dinh, right on the Red River Delta into the Gulf of Tonkin. And as we read a moment ago, the target that we are protecting are these textile mills in Nam Dinh. So once we're over the city and we're heading down south to waypoint 5 for the actual intercept, we have our eyes open, keeping a watch out for the incoming American aircraft so we can find our target flight and attack them before they get back to the city. And this objective point is down to the south. We're going to pass by the smaller city of Phu Lai on our right, and we'll be almost down to Tan Hoa. And I'm going to move this waypoint because the more we can stay away from the coastline, the better. After we make that intercept, then it's going to be up to the northwest now, and circling around past Dong Suong, and then over around Hanoi back up to Kep for the landing. So here at Kep, this is the first flight of the 923rd. That's us. Our strength is still 20 aircraft, but we're down to 43% supply. Second flight is doing slightly worse, but still all right, with 18 aircraft and 50% supply. And the third flight, still at full strength, 20 aircraft and 51% supply. So 923rd, not doing too bad. But if we take a look over at Phu Quyen, we're going to see a little bit different story. Here's the third flight of the 921st. They're down to 13 aircraft and 47% supply. So they're like at 55% strength. They've lost 7 aircraft already. Here's the second flight. They've also lost 7 aircraft. Strength of 13 down to 48% supply. And here's the fourth flight down to 11 aircraft and only 35% supply. So fourth flight having some real problems. And even our AN2 squadrons are not holding up too well. Here's the AN2s out at Yen Bai. They're down to a strength of 4. Gaia Lam has 8. And Kien An has 9. So even the AN2 squadrons are taking losses against the Americans. And finally, the roster. I have 30 kills, Din Ton 1. My wingman in number 2 is going to be Win Hu Dai. He's got 1 air-to-air kill. Leader of the second element in Din Ton 3 is going to be Captain Pham Dang Truck. And his wingman in the number 4 position, Lieutenant Win Qua Tan. And you can see it's November now, and Lieutenant Win Duc Bao is still wounded. He has still not pulled out of his convalescence after getting shot down by a Sparrow missile. So his wounds must have been pretty severe if he is still down and out once again. Maybe someday he'll be active, maybe before this campaign's over, but we shall see. And that does it for the briefing. So take off from Kep, heading down to Nam Dinh. We have to defend these textile mills from incoming aircraft. So let's get going. Din Ton flight, runway 12, ready for departure.
Định toán phía ông tướng 180
Clearance for takeoff, wind 180 at 5, so we actually have a quartering headwind for once. Taking off into the wind. That'll be a happy benefit. WP5 engine coming up. Full power. Afterburner engaged. .200 kph. So I'm trying to keep us on the center line. 250. Starting to pull back. 300. Rotate. And a smooth liftoff from Kep. Gear flaps up, pulling the engine off the afterburner. And we pass 300 meters. I'm just going to switch over to waypoint 3 and continue the climb out. We're going to get the guys into formation as they take off. Oop. There's our waypoint. Overshot it just a little bit. Getting a little slow in the climb, so let's give it a little burst of juice here. Like I said, not going very high up into the sky. We're going to stay maybe here at 1,000 meters. Maybe a level out there and then head out into the mountains. And then once we get everyone together, we'll circle back around, heading down to the south. And we just got transferred over to the intercept controller. So now we're going to start receiving our reports of incoming American aircraft. So we'll want to keep track of that. Way out there to our right, Hai Phong, Gulf of Tonkin. And I'm going to put the flight into trail formation. And 4 is airborne, so everybody's up. So, this will be, so we've seen stacked 3. We saw high-low pairs, and now this will be the third and final formation, trail. So we're going to see the guys come by, and like I said before, we're in the back, and the other 3 wingmen will be in front of us, all in the line, so that I can issue them orders to attack enemies as we get into combat. There we go, there's number 2 going by, sliding into position, and 3 and 4 will join us shortly. One thing I have found with this particular formation is that I have to pay extra attention if the guys are coming up behind me, because if I make wild maneuvers, they might crash right into the back of me. So even though I've given them a bit of spacing in between each of the positions, still just have to keep an eye on them to make sure that they don't do anything crazy and crash into me. Here comes 3, he's going to clear me right over the top. We've got bogeys 3 o'clock more than 50 miles out, down low at 5,000 feet. So the Americans are on their way in. And in just a few minutes, 4 will be in position. We'll hit waypoint 3, and then we'll make that circle down to the south and zoom towards Nam Dinh. Today I'm going to talk about our new squadron and its home base. Kep Air Base is located in the Bac Giang province, near the town of Kep, in North Vietnam. The airfield began life as a small dirt strip for propeller-driven aircraft. Many Vietnamese airfields were left over from the Japanese occupation of World War II and hadn't seen improvement since then, though the French had maintained Bac Mai in the south end of Hanoi and Cat Bai in Hai Phong. After the 1954 Geneva Accords, North Vietnam inherited these bases, but they were still deemed insufficient, and a plan of 42 new airfields across the country was drawn up. For the next 10 years, the North Vietnamese Air Defense Force only consisted of propeller training and transport aircraft, such as AN-2s, Li-2s, and Yak-18s. Fujian was built as the country's first jet fighter runway in 1963, with the 921st Squadron formed the following year. Kep was extensively improved in 1965, with construction ending in September, just in time for the arrival of the country's second jet squadron, the 923rd. The runway was reinforced and lengthened to 6,000 feet to allow for jet operations. The 923rd was formed from the second wave of Vietnamese pilots returning from China and the Soviet Union and the new delivery of J-5 fighters from China. The 923rd was nicknamed Yen Tay, after the Yen Tay district in the Bac Giang province. Yen Tay, located just a few miles north of Kep, was the site of a 25-year-long insurrection against the French. The revolt was led by Hoang Hoa Tam, a feudal lord of Yen Tay who opposed French control from 1887 until 1913. Hoang's resistance fighters varied between guerrilla tactics, harassing local patrols, and all-out attacks on French forces. Several French campaigns to sweep through the mountains failed to destroy the revolt. The insurrection finally collapsed in 1913 when Hoang was assassinated in the city of Tai Nguyen by one of his men, who was actually a French spy. Hoang Hoa Tam is considered a national hero, with buildings and streets named for him, as well as Operation Hoang Hoa Tam during the Vietnam War. The 923rd Air Regiment grew throughout the rest of 1965. More flights were added as more aircraft and pilots became available. In the spring of 1966, MiG-21s, detached from Fujian, were based at the airfield. In 1967, Kep had the dubious honor of being the first airfield attacked by the Americans. The following month, while attacking Kep again, an American A-4 Skyhawk shot down a MiG-17 using air-to-ground rockets, scoring the only air-to-air kill for the A-4s during the war. From 1967 until early 1969, 87 North Korean pilots served at Kep as part of the secret Group Z. The unit claimed 26 aircraft shot down, with 14 men killed in return. The group flew 2 companies of MiG-17s and 1 of MiG-21s, for a total of 30 aircraft. Though long rumored, Group Z's existence wasn't officially confirmed until 2000. The remains of 14 North Koreans were buried in a cemetery in Bac Giang, and in 2002 the bodies were exhumed and returned to North Korea. Today, the airbase is still in military use. The VPAF 927th Fighter Regiment operates out of Kep. They fly MiG-21s and Sukhoi Su-30 Mk2s. The MiG-21s are on their way out, if they haven't been scrapped already. The country has been opening itself to foreign investment, and with its growing economy, Vietnam has been able to acquire more modern equipment.
Có người một định cao qua khỏi số 1 rồi, một định như Việt Nam 007. Hiểu rồi.
And as we're up and over the top of the ridge, we're heading down south into Hai Phong. Out to our left is the city of Ha Long, which today is a massive resort town, a huge tourist center, but not so much at this time in 1965. There's Hai Phong out in front of us. And as we clear these mountains, we're going to drop back down to a low altitude, skim over the city, and then down to the south. This airfield coming into view ahead of us here is Cat Bai. Cat Bai has a long history of use in the area, expanded by the French after World War II. During the First Indochina War, both the French Air Force and Navy stationed units there to fight the Viet Minh. Aircraft there included F-8F Bearcats, B-26 Invaders, and PB-4Y Privateers. In March of 1954, the Viet Minh staged an attack on the base, destroying 7 aircraft. That same month, civilian pilots of the Civil Air Transport arrived at Cat Bai to begin flying C-119s on cargo missions. The CAT was the CIA's secret airline that later became Air America during the Vietnam War. CAT pilots flew 682 supply missions out of Cat Bai, supporting the Battle of Dien Bien Phu through the rest of March. Dien Bien Phu raged for almost 3 weeks, but in the end, the French were defeated by Ho Chi Minh and his Viet Minh, leading to the Geneva Accords, which created North and South Vietnam. After acquiring Cat Bai from the French, North Vietnam set up its Aviation Technical Training School there. This was one of the stops of hopeful pilots and mechanics before they were sent to China or the Soviet Union. Washout rates for the program were high. Only 1 in 5 hopeful pilots successfully qualified in jet fighters. The game has the airport placed north of Hai Phong, but in real life, Cat Bai is on the southeast side of the city, right near the water. Today it's a civilian airport, and it serves 4 to 5 million passengers per year. In 2016, the airport got a major upgrade with a new terminal and a second 10,000-foot runway. And over the roofs of Hai Phong now, with the outer harbor over there to our left and the inner harbor directly ahead of us. Let's see where the closest targets are. Left 9 o'clock, so still 50 miles. Or in excess of 50 miles. And the primary target is at 11 o'clock. Greater than 50 miles, down at 5,000 feet. So it looks like the American strike flights are coming in from a couple of different directions. Unless that flight out to our left is an escort flight, that's possible. That could be F4s coming in to make a mid-cap or something. And we do not want to tangle with escorts right now, because if we do that, then we're not going to be able to stop the strike aircraft. So that's why we're staying down nice and low. Just like the MiGs did in real life, staying under 2,500 feet to stay off of radar. And even if they're seen on radar, the low altitude is going to prevent enemy F4s from getting a good radar lock from too far out. So this is hiding us and protecting us at the same time. And there's Nam Dinh already coming up pretty fast. So that's good. So let's slow back down to a cruise speed. Oh yeah, there we go. And you can see there's 3 other friendly flights all around us coming into Nam Dinh. And I'm going to pull way back because I don't want to be too far out ahead of them, I think. I don't know, I might change my mind in a second. It kind of worked out last time where we chased the American flight back into the waiting arms of that other squadron to the north, so I'm not opposed to doing that again. But I also don't want to find myself out completely alone if we get jumped by American fighters. We don't need that. There's waypoint 4 as we're over downtown Nam Dinh. We'll begin our turn to the south. Right over the harbor you can see all the merchant ships right in front of us at the docks. We're putting on a little air show for them as we zoom by at 600 kph, which is approximately in the neighborhood of 300 knots. Okay, so now we're keeping an eye out for Americans. Primary target's 12 o'clock, 25 miles, Angels 5, heading right into us, heading north. And we've got a closer bandit at 10 miles out to the left, and it's an F4. Oh, look at that, it's the Silver Kings. It's the same squadron that I flew with in my F4 campaign later in the war. Okay, and I'm just getting a lot of F4s. Okay, from a different squadron. I think this is VF-96. So we have a couple F4 squadrons coming in from the left. Escort aircraft. Primary target still 12 o'clock, 25 miles, and I don't know what they are just yet because I'm not getting a good. I'm not able to target them. F4 still the closest thing. Primary's down to 20 miles now. Still dead ahead. We're down at 350 meters. I'm going to pull up just a little bit. I'm a little afraid that they're going to get by us if they're too high up above us. So we'll hang out at 500 meters. There we go. 2 enemies directly above us. Look like F4s. Maybe that's those VF-96 F4s, but they're past us, and the friendly squadrons behind can take care of them. Okay, F-8 Crusader targeted. Is this our primary target? They're slinging bombs. Yes, they are. Oh, this is interesting. So the strike aircraft are actually F-8s today. Full afterburner. We've got a guy targeted. Dintone 2, attack my target. Visual range on the other ones. I'm going to try to target... Nope, not friendly. Come on, come on, come on. Target one of the baddies. There we go. Got a target. Second flight. Attack my target. There they go. And now I'm going to take this guy in the back. So, wingmen are attacking the front row of F-8 Crusaders. I'm going to take the back row. Still in full afterburner as we cut through the formations here to get right behind the second flight. Ah. Up and over. Air brakes are out to get us back behind them. One's down from the front. Two's down. Oh, I'm like right in the middle of these, of the back row. There we go. Boom! Something else going down out to my right. I saw a smoke plume. Whoa! I did not do that. That was a friendly taking out that Crusader out front, but I think I nicked this guy. Come on. These cannons. There we go. Another F-8 going down. F-4 careening around in front of us. 2 of them! Shit! And another squadron, I think an enemy squadron out to my right. Looks like they're heading in too, but not my problem. We gotta figure out where these F-8s went. Oh, they are right in front of me. Come on. Yes! And he's on fire. And we'll let him go. He dropped his bombs, so that's all that matters. This guy's still left. Oh shit, is he coming back in him? Nope, nope. He's peeling off. He's getting out of town. Through the flak clouds now. Come on. Yes! 2's out of ammo as I finish off my last of the F-8s. I think the guy's got most of the F-8s from the front squadron. Nope, one more left. He's still picking up flak as he's heading into the edges of Nam Dinh. There he is. He's just out in front. 2's out of ammo, so let's send him back to base. 3, attack my target. I don't know where 3 and 4 are, but I think this F-8's probably going to drop on the target. Oh shit, he's going down. He got hit by flak. Oh, bombs hitting out in the northwest corner of the city. That final F-8 got taken down by ground fire. And he's going to crash down into the middle of the city, unfortunately. But at least he's down. Let's get the remaining wingmen back on my formation. Nearest target is an A6, randomly. Must have been one of the other strike squadrons coming in from a different direction that dropped the bombs behind us. Missiles fired at my guy. So enemy escorts are homing in on us in the area. Let's get down low. I've selected waypoint 8 to lead us back home up to the north. Mission is accomplished. There's not really much more we can do here, so I am gonna bug out. Head back to the north. I probably don't have very much ammo left to tangle with escorts even if I wanted to. Oh yeah, that A4, he's empty and heading back out to sea, and that's our nearest target, so let's just go, go, go. That's number 2. Here's number 3 with a missile zooming by him. So he might be under duress. I don't see who fired it, though, and, 4. Ooh. Woo! I don't know what possessed me to do that. That could have been actually really bad if I had crashed it. That could have ended this mission real quick. Or get me kicked out of the squadron. I hope nobody saw the side numbers on my aircraft. Don't report me, please. F4 Phantom out to the right and behind me. Oh, I still have my drop tanks on. I forgot I never dumped those tanks. Good to know. Probably still fueling them. I really haven't been that crazy on the afterburner just yet. Guys are calling for bandits. So they're still harassing my guys. Oh, and they're nowhere near me. Dinton 2 is just out to the right. He's just heading home. He's been doing so for a couple of minutes. Ah, God. Alright, let's go back. If 3 and 4 are caught in some dogfights, maybe I can at least, if we can shake the F4s off of them, then maybe the F4s will be inclined to disengage and go back out to sea, and we can head back. Oh, we actually have an F8 Crusader. VF-24. He's got a couple of Sidewinders on board. I'm not sure if he's chasing somebody or going back out to sea. Here's an F4, definitely chasing somebody. The Silver Kings are after my guys. Oh, and they're actually real close, just out to the left. We're within visual range. One missile hitting ground, second missile impacting. There's a friendly J5, and there's the Silver King's F4 pursuing behind. Let's get his attention. Up and over the top, full afterburner. Let's reacquire the target. There we go. And the smoke disappeared from his engine exhaust, so he just went into afterburner. Oh, now he's back. Okay, is he actually chasing that J5? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Hey, number 3, break. I don't know if that helped, but the F4 slid past him and is turning into me now. Okay. I'm assuming this is 3. Hey, rejoin 3. Let's get everyone back on the wing. That F4 is circling around. Let's see if maybe he'll just get the hint and go home. And then let's bring everybody down to a nice low altitude. Oh, another missile going by. I just saw the contrail up there in the clouds. Oh, and that F4 picking up major flak out to the left. We saw one airplane get dropped by flak today. It would be great to see a second. Oh man, another missile launch. Alright, let's circle back around. Actually, no, better idea. Let's bring them right to Gaialam. Let's use their anti-aircraft to our advantage. Doesn't look like anyone's pursuing me directly, but 3 is behind me, 4 is down to the south, heading back towards me, so let's circle right over here. Oh shit, there's actually a SAM site just to the northwest of the airfield as well. I don't know if it's active. I haven't seen any SAMs flying around, but on the off chance that it is, there's Kep directly ahead on the far side of Bac Yang, the city. And we just use our usual trick of leapfrogging from groups of AAA to the next group of AAA. Oh god, F4 is still firing missiles. That's a friendly. Down low, sliding behind me. That's good. So that's 3. So 4 is down to the south. There's some flashing down there from flak coming up at bad guys. Here's 2 on approach. So he's nearly safely home. And here is 3, who's just behind me. And here's 4, who is just passing over Bac Mai. And he is in a turning fight with an F4 Phantom directly over the airfield, which is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for, to get the Americans over these... Whoa! These concentrations of AAA. There's two F4s. Almost called them A4s in my excitement. Look at this fire that's coming up from the airfield. Somehow dodging in between all of that. Ooh. Man, I wish he'd get hit. Alright, circling back over. Kep's on the left here. We're going to get lined up for our overhead approach. 3's with me. 4 is down to the south, hopefully separating from those F4s. Friendlies, still catching hell from somewhere else. There we go, on our final waypoint. Ooh. Defense is coming alive at Kep Airfield. F4 high and to my right. Sliding in behind me and wherever my wingmen are. Yep, he's over to my left now. Okay, no, fuck this. We're not making the break. 3, return to base. Braking high and right. Whew. Back into this guy. He was trying to pull in right behind me. Let's try to scare him off. Clear the airspace above the airfield. I think I still have a few rounds left in the guns if I need them. If I can get close enough for a killing shot. Wow, he got really far away really fast. And he's still going. Alright, I think he's bugging out. Alright, let's flip back around, let's head back to the airbase, and let's try that approach once again, now that the air is a little more clear and safe. 2 is already landed, 3 was right behind me, so I suspect he's... Yeah, looks like that F4, I don't even see him anymore. Hopefully he's just heading back out to sea. 3 is hopefully in the landing approach, and 4 will be shortly, and that's... Okay, that's the guy, so he's on his way out. I think he's had enough of us. Which is perfect. There we go, there's one of the guys. Oh, that's number 4 because I see number 3 out ahead of me. Yep. So they will circle around to the right and land on the runway. One of the things that I adjusted when I was in the files for the game, I've talked about some of the other changes I've made, like extending the time that the game gives me to get to the target to make things a little less hectic. One of the other things I changed was the distance to, I forget what it's called exactly, but it's basically the distance from the approach point to the landing point. I made that much shorter because before the AI would circle around something like 10 miles and then come in to land, and of course that's just preposterous. So now they're down to like 2 miles, and they circle around pretty fast and then get back in to land because like in the earlier episodes in the North Vietnamese campaign, we saw the AI wingmen would go way out and then all get shot down, out to the west. So in an effort to try to keep all the action a little more centralized around the airbase where we could protect them, I've cut that approach distance way down. So that's what we're seeing here. Another thing I want to point out, included in the Vietnam mod pack are 3 levels of flak. So there's normal, deadly, and insane. And it's files that you copy into your mod folder, and it affects how accurate the gunners are, the flak gunners. So just so you know, I'm running the insane flak gunners here in these campaigns. So this flak is very accurate, very deadly, and very realistic. Now, it still takes a lot of flak to actually knock down an airplane. It's not easy, but we saw today that it is possible to take a direct hit and just have the plane fall apart. So in the American campaigns, that's something that's always against us. Here in the North Vietnamese campaigns, that's something that's on our side. So that's definitely something I'm trying to take advantage of by flying over airfields and over cities to keep the Americans off our back, because the ground fire is something to be actually scared of. And I just saw 3 and 4 pull past me. 4 should be touching down on the runway just now, so we've made the turn, coming around. Air brakes are out, and then we're going to advance the throttle, keeping the engine RPMs up. There's 4, just floating in over the threshold. These old engines, on both sides, Soviet style and Western style, took forever to spool up and down, so a lot of times pilots would just come in with the brakes popped and the engine riding high in RPM, so if they had to go around, all they had to do was pull the brakes in, and then they had instantaneous power as opposed to waiting 14 seconds or more, depending on your type of engine.
Hết giờ rồi, tôi phải đi về.
And we are safely down, rolling to a stop. There we go. All 4 aircraft down and safe. Back to Kep. Opening the canopy with shift 0. Successful mission. This one went quite well. We'll see you over in the debriefing. Okie doke. We had to intercept an enemy flight approaching the Nam Dinh textile mills, destroy the enemy flight before it reaches its target. Flight time was 41 minutes and 14 seconds. That's funny, it didn't seem that long. Result, 7 primary targets were destroyed, which means that one of the F-8s got away. And that was that F8 that I hit and knocked all the bombs off, and he was on fire. I was expecting him to explode, but he actually got the fire out and then peeled off and headed back out to sea. So he was very heavily damaged, but didn't finish him off. So 7 out of 8. Rating of outstanding success. Score 2,300 points. 23 hundo. Here's the stats. I got 3 kills today. Oh, and once you know it, I did actually finish off my ammo load. There I was chasing that F4 like I had one more burst maybe, but nope, I did not. Luckily he was done with playing in the sandbox, and away he went. Second Lieutenant Dai got 2 kills. Look at that. He knocked down 2 enemies, and Captain Truck, 1 kill. Lieutenant Ton, no weapon fired. Unfortunately. Okay, not a whole lot of movement in the roster so far, but Captain Pham Dang Truck got his 1 kill today, his first. And then down here at the bottom, Second Lieutenant Win Hoi Dai has 3 kills. So he had 1 before with his 2, now he's up to 3. So our guy's starting to inch up towards ace. And the more we can get guys into the action, keep them alive, and get them high air-to-air kill scores means that their experience rating is going to go up. So you have different levels of experience for the pilots that the game assigns, starting from rookie and then going all the way up to ace. So it's like rookie, regular, veteran, something else. There's like 5 or 6 levels, so there actually is some payback for keeping the guys alive and getting them experience, because then they become better pilots the longer that you keep them going. Plus, I like the narrative of keeping this as a ongoing story. You know, every episode's a little part of a story. I like that a lot. Let's see, looking at the log real quick. At 8:21:34, Captain Truck hit and destroyed that first F8 Crusader. And apparently he hit it again with a bunch of rounds. At 8:21:36, just a couple of seconds later, Second Lieutenant Dai came in and destroyed that second Crusader, which was just off to our left there as we were making the run. So that was the first 2 down in just the first couple of seconds of the encounter. And then I came up next, 8:21:56, I destroyed my Crusader. Here at 8:22:10, Second Lieutenant Dai hit F8 Crusader with the 23mm cannon, and it registered him destroying it a second later. So either it took a second to blow up in midair, or maybe went down and crashed into the ground. Either way, that was his second kill, and that was the 4th Crusader. I got the next one, 8:22:25. And then I think these other hits, I think this was the other Crusader that I heavily damaged and got away, I think. It's registering that I hit him a lot. You would think with that many hits he would have been a goner, but I guess he just got lucky. 8:23:29, that was that last Crusader. Popped him off, and then the leader of the squadron continued into Nam Dinh, where he got flaked and taken down by flak. And then for the next 10 minutes or so, me and the guys were chased all the way back into the capital region by F4s, who continued to fire Sparrows and Sidewinders at us. Oh yeah, 8:28:20. So that head-on pass with the F4, the one burst that I fired sort of from the hip, just to scare the F4 off, those were my final 3 rounds of ammunition, apparently. But it did the trick, because he peeled off and away, and that was the last we saw of him. All right, another successful mission. I'm actually a little afraid that we're being jinxed, because these missions have been going sort of suspiciously well. We've been doing so well, and we've lost only 2 guys. I'm afraid that one of these missions we're just going to get, the whole squadron's going to get cleaned out. We'll see. We're going to try not to let that happen. We don't want to retire early before the campaign is actually over, but if it happens, and we'll move on. So we just have to keep Just have to keep our pilot alive. All right, hope you like that one. Come back next time for more action with the Vietnam People's Air Force. See you then.